When you think about ancient justice, especially in the Near East, what often comes to mind is that idea of retaliation, an eye for an eye.
Exactly.
And in Scripture, that took the form of blood vengeance. A relative, the avenger of blood, had a legal right, an obligation, really, to pursue a killer.
Right. It was about restoring a balance. But that raises a huge question. What happens if the killing wasn't murder? What if it was, a complete accident?
And that's the pivot point for our deep dive today. We're looking at the biblical cities of refuge.
Commended by the Lord to Joshua, they're this incredible legal exception designed specifically to protect someone who killed unintentionally.
So it's a way to hit pause on that cycle of vengeance.
It is. It's a perfect illustration of God balancing justice because a life was still taken, which is serious, with mercy. It brings intent into the equation.
Okay, so who exactly qualified for this? I mean, how did the system work?
The sources are really clear on this. It was for the manslayer who strikes any person without intent or unknowingly.
So this is not a hideout for criminals.
Not at all. It's for the victim of a terrible circumstance.
I just can't imagine the sheer panic of that. You accidentally cause a death, and you have to immediately run. This isn't just going to the authorities. It's a literal race for your life.
A race against someone who is legally authorized to kill you. And the process was very structured. You had to flee to one of the 6 designated cities.
You couldn't just, blend into the crowd?
No, not at all. You had to go to the entrance of the city gate and publicly explain your case to the elders.
So they were like a first response court.
That's a good way to put it. They had to determine if there was any evidence of prior hatred or intent. If they believed it was unintentional, they gave you shelter.
And they were then required to protect you, even from the avenger of blood.
Yes. They were commanded not to hand the person over.
And these 6 cities, they were placed strategically, right, for access.
Absolutely. 3 on the west side of the Jordan, Kedesh, Shechem, and Hebron. And then 3 on the east, Bezer, Ramoth, and Golan. The goal was that no one would be too far from safety.
Something that also stands out is just how inclusive this law was. It wasn't only for Israelites.
No, and that's fascinating. The text says it was for all the people of Israel and for the stranger sojourning among them. It's a universal legal mercy.
Okay, so that brings us to the justice side of it. If you're found innocent of murder, why the confinement? Why not just let the person go home?
That's where the theology gets really deep. Even though it was an accident, a life was taken, a price still had to be paid, so the manslayer had to stay.
An exile, basically.
I protected exile, yes.
Yeah.
And the condition for your release was incredibly symbolic. You could only go home after the death of the high priest who was serving at that time.
So it required a kind of substitutionary death. The high priest, the people's representative, his death served as a corporate atonement for the life that was lost.
Exactly. And that act of atonement, that idea of a substitute paying the price, is how our sources make the leap from ancient history to our lives today. They ask, does a city of refuge exist for us?
And the answer they give is a powerful one. Yes. Jesus Christ is presented as the ultimate refuge.
But the contrast is what's really striking. In those old cities, you had to run, and then you had to prove you were innocent.
You're going to make your case.
Right. This new refuge, the one built on the cross, it operates on pure grace. I mean, if it were based on our own fairness or our ability to prove we had no malice, well, none of us would qualify.
So it really changes the whole dynamic. The ancient system had you running to prove your innocence to find safety.
Yeah.
Think about the difference then. The difference between running to a refuge hoping you can prove your case versus running to a refuge that already accepts you, based not on your merit, but on a grace that has already paid the ultimate price for you. What fears or failures are you carrying that this idea of ultimate grace could cover? That's something to really consider.